The following segment is sponsored by Hollis, Wright & Clay.
Hey, welcome back to Talk of Alabama. This time of year, it can be hard to keep track of the kids. They have camps, they're going to the lake or the pool, a lot of fun, but safety really has to be a top priority. This morning, Attorney John Spade is joining us talking about some important reminders. Good morning, thanks for being here.
Good morning, thank you so much for having me.
So in your experience, what are some things we need to be aware of when it comes to childhood injuries and accidents?
Yeah, there are a number of things, and today I kind of want to talk about some of those areas where we find, children under the age of 19 are at higher risk for suffering injuries. A recent study found that over 9 million children under the age of 19 will seek medical treatment for accident-related injuries. And so, we have the opportunity to help children who have been injured through no fault of their own. But what I want to talk today is what we can do on the front end to try to help minimize and prevent those injuries from happening. And a lot of times, those will come from auto-related accidents, poisonings, water-related drownings, and then of course fall and trip hazards as well. So I want to try to cover a couple of those things if we can.
Certainly, yeah, a lot of things that you don't want to think about necessarily your child getting into trouble in these situations, but you have to think about it in order to prevent some of those. So when it comes to children around cars, we all know you need the right car seat for the right age of your child, but what are some other things to think about?
Yeah, absolutely. Age is definitely, when it comes to car seats, age is definitely something to consider. Weight as well is something to consider. And not only making sure that the child and the car seat they fit, but making sure that car seat is properly installed, be it the base, be it the actual car seat itself. And if you have any questions about installing a car seat and whether it's properly installed, you can go to your local fire department, police station. They have people there that are trained on how to properly install those bases and car seats to make sure that they're being used correctly to help minimize and prevent those injuries. Another thing sounds kind of common sense, but having a real conversation with your children. I've got 2 kids of my own, 1 5, hello Emmy, and one 1. And having that conversation with them to be aware, not to chase balls or toys into the street, look both ways before you cross. And one thing that we always discuss is, just because you can see the car doesn't mean the driver of the car can necessarily see you. And so try to make eye contact and just be aware of your surroundings, whether it be, crossing the street, in the parking lot. These are, big vehicles and they can cause serious injuries. And then another thing, especially with the heat that we have right now, the heat wave in Alabama, is being aware not to leave your children unattended in the car. A recent study found that a vehicle that's turned off, the temperature inside the vehicle rises 40 degrees every hour. I would argue in Alabama in the summer heat, it probably rises more than that in an hour. So don't leave your children unattended in the car because it can have serious and potentially fatal consequences.
Certainly, yeah, some good things to remember there. A lot of people are going to be hitting the pool, hitting the lake this time of year, and you want it to be a good time for everyone. You don't want to leave with a tragedy. So how can we make sure that children of all ages are safe around water?
Absolutely, that is a huge priority, especially now, given how hot it is outside. Everybody's trying to find a body of water to get in to cool off. Start teaching swim lessons and just water safety at a young and early age. Even if the child can't fully do breaststroke or freestyle or whatever type of swimming, it's important for them to be able to be aware to flip over onto their back, because those few seconds can have big consequences. Another thing, if you do have a pool at your house, to have it fenced off, have it fully enclosed with latches. Not only does that prevent people and children and animals from inadvertently falling in if somebody's not out there watching, it also can have implications on your homeowner's policy as well. So those are definitely 2 things. Another thing is making life jackets a part of your recreational water activities, be it on the boat, in the ocean, or even in the pool. It's always a good idea to have that just to prevent any accidents that might happen. And another kind of tip is try to be intentional about watching the kids. A lot of times you have friends and family over, you're barbecuing, you might be pulling something off the smoker, and you turn your back for a second, something can happen. Try to do it in shifts. Kind of a general rule of thumb is every 15 minutes have somebody that's kind of designated that's watching the kids and watching everybody play in the pool. And if you're having a big family gathering, it's not a bad idea to hire a lifeguard. It's kind of a low cost that potentially can have a huge impact on childhood safety.
John, some great tips this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
A bride